Okay, so I've been really sick for the past week. Just it was just a cold. Sometimes I get a cold and it's like nothing. I take some immune system boosters, airborne stuff like that, and it's like nothing. It's a minor nuisance for a day or two, but just terrible cold. So I haven't really been doing anything for like a week. But I really wanted to make a video about the console war between the PS4 and the Xbox One. People are saying it's been like the best E3 in like 5 years. Some people say it's been the best E3 in ever. I don't really give a fuck about E3 too often, really. I mean, you see some early builds of some games, a lot of quick criticism. People are quick to criticize any game they play at E3, just to be the first one to do it. So there have been all these marketing wars, all this hype and hyperbole back and forth, just rubbing it on our backs and like massaging in all the hyperbole. Oh yeah, take it. It's hard to say. It's hard to judge. The Xbox One is looking horrible. The PS4 is therefore looking a lot better. But it's hard. It's hard to say who will end up winning in the end. Everybody thought the Genesis was going to be this horrible console and it was going to bomb and die and burn out. But of course, everybody knows that the Genesis went on to become a really popular console and it did really well, and everybody looks fondly on it now. Anyway, I just wanted to sort of just kind of try to compare the two, get other people's thoughts on what the hell's going on. Everybody seems to have forgotten about the Nintendo Wii U. Nintendo's doing the smart thing. They're just kind of staying away from the console wars, as they say. It's kind of like if you're sitting there and your girlfriend and your friend who happens to be a girl get into a fight. You just kind of, just sort of... Don't pay any attention to me, don't ask my opinion. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Nintendo's pulling that move, which is probably the smartest thing for them to do right now. They're not trying to have amazing graphics, they're just trying to make a fun system. Although they have been doing some other dickish things lately, but... So, anyway, let's compare the two, let's talk about them. At the moment, like I said, I'm a big PlayStation person, so... I have no intention of getting an Xbox, even if it turns out to be better than the PlayStation somehow. Even if they change their marketing ideas and they change pretty much everything about the console, and the console somehow becomes this amazingly awesome console that's way better than the PlayStation, I'm still probably not going to buy it. The Xbox to me has always seemed like it's kind of like the Axe body spray of the console video game world. It's just kind of douchey. It's run by a lot of... It feels like it's run by a lot of really yuppie marketing gurus who look at what buzzwords are popular and throw them all into one system. Gamer tag, things like that. It's shit like that that just annoys me and irritates me and pisses me off, and I feel like they're insulting my intelligence just by using these words. My hair looks terrible, doesn't it? Sure does. So anyway, let's jump right in. So in terms of hardware, the PlayStation 4 has faster RAM, faster memory, same amount, 8 gigs on both. That being said, the PS4 has DDR5 versus the Xbox One, which has DDR3, which of course leads to more expensive manufacturing costs, one would think. Although that being said, it's $100 cheaper than the Xbox One. On top of that, it's going to have more, I don't know what I guess there's CUs. It's going to have, I think, is 16 or 18 CUs versus the Xbox One, which has 12. So that'll leave more rendering power on the PS4 side for shading and lighting and shit like that. But of course, Xbox One is bragging about their cloud gaming, where they will render everything on the cloud and send it to you, or at least render some of it on the cloud and send it back to you. But of course that leads for some weird networking and latency issues and all kinds of crazy shit that I personally don't want to be involved with. I don't want to have to deal with it. Although I guess that could be rendered... Let's see, how do you render it on the fly and then just send it to your system? It would take time. I don't know. I don't think that technology has been very well perfected as of yet. We'll see how the PS4 does with streaming to the Vita, and then we'll have to go from there. So that about does it for the hardware side. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's all about the games. You know, if it's a good game, it's a good game. It doesn't matter how awesome the lighting or the shading looks. Alright, so in addition to all of that nonsense, the Xbox One is going to be coming bundled with the Kinect, a new version of the Kinect. But that's not fucking saying much, considering the original version of the Kinect is a total piece of shit. So if you take shit and make it better, how much better is it? I mean, if they made some minor improvements, it's not going to be that much better. I know supposedly it'll track your heart rate and shit, so it can tell if the player's getting stressed out or if they're getting tired or whatever. I don't give a shit. To me, PlayStation 4 is an advantage because it doesn't come with the PlayStation Eye, which is essentially like the Kinect, right? To me, that's an advantage. I don't want it. I just want to sit there with my controller and play my fucking video games. That's how video games are supposed to work. I don't want to have to fucking get up. If I get up, I can go outside and run and shit. I'll just do that. Let's just do that. Yeah, let's just do that. Really don't give a fuck about the Kinect at all, or the Eye for that matter. So and that could be why the price point on the PS4 is less than the Xbox One, or at least one of the reasons. Just because you aren't buying the fucking stupid PlayStation Eye with it. It sounds like they aren't even trying all that hard with it. I don't know. I think it's probably something that they're going to work harder on after the console has been released, and they can actually get some decent games with it. As far as I know, at E3, they just kind of showed off a few mini games with the Eye, and that was about it. So who gives a fuck? Nobody gives a shit. I just want to play some actual real video games with like rich narrative and fucking weird RPGs and shit like that. Also indie games. That shit's important. Which is nice because the PlayStation 4 seems to be supporting indie games a lot better than the Xbox One. You will be able to self-publish on the PS4. That's a big deal for indie developers, and I think that will help out a lot. I think a lot of indie developers will be flocking over to the PS4, and it's been like that for quite a while. I mean, from what I've read, indie game developers' experiences with the PS3 versus the Xbox 360, it's been tons better in terms of just getting your game done and marketed and out there on the PS4 versus the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 has really fucked people over. So furthermore, in terms of the cloud, aside from getting some rendering done, I don't know if the PS4 is going to have rendering being done in the cloud and then sending it back down to you. I don't know. I assume there's got to be some sort of crazy ass buffer system that will prevent like horrible lag and latency in the rendering when that happens. Xbox One or PS4, whatever. Aside from that, I know with the PS4 supposedly there will be like streaming downloads, so you buy a game online and you start digitally downloading it, you can start playing it almost immediately. I would think there would be a little bit of a wait time for the download to start and the connection to speed up and everything before you can start playing it. But, you know, you wait like 30 seconds to a minute and you can already start playing the game. The game could be 8 gigs in size and you can just start streaming it in a matter of minutes. So that's pretty cool. It's all about now. I want to play it now. I want to play it now. I'm not sure how well that speaks to the society that we live in, but that's kind of where PlayStation 4 is going. They want everything on demand. They want you to be able to play it now. They don't want any waiting. It's never really bothered me. I've always enjoyed downloading a new game and like, oh yeah, alright, I'm gonna go make some coffee, go have a smoke while it's downloading. Oh, look at this, 50%. Oh baby. There's something fun about the anticipation of waiting. To me. Maybe that's because I'm getting old. I don't know. Moving on. Let's talk about the games. I wrote down a bunch on a piece of paper. I don't know how the exclusives are going. Like, I'll hear, Destiny is exclusive to the PS4. I heard that at some point, and now I'm hearing it's cross-platform. So I don't know how true this list is. And I left out some games that I just don't give a crap about. Although, to be honest, I don't give a crap about most of the games on this list anyway. But launch titles are usually kind of iffy. That's usually how it goes. I never buy a console when it first comes out. It's probably going to have weird problems with it. Crap where you have to send it back to the manufacturer to get it repaired and then get it back and all that stupid bullshit. Or just a shitload of updates to fix all its weird problems, stuff like that. I like to wait a good year at least before I get a new. I mean, I just got a PS3 and it's been out for years. But look at this awesome library of used games I can get now. I can get all these great games for like $10-15. Anyway, that's why I do it. I'm cheap. All right, so let's talk about some of the games. AC4, Assassin's Creed 4 will be multi-platform. Final Fantasy 15, man, it's really weird to look at the title of Final Fantasy 15. It's Final Fantasy XV. It's just, it just looks really weird. I can't believe it's made it that far. But for good reason. They're good games for the most part. 13 was kind of a disappointment for me, but anyway. What else is cross-platform? We've got Call of Duty Ghosts. I'll probably maybe play that when it's really cheap. Play the single-player campaign once and call it good. What happened to you, Call of Duty? You got corrupted after Modern Warfare. Not a big multiplayer person. Watch Dogs. Mirror's Edge. EA wants to do, I guess, a Mirror's Edge game. Not a sequel. Apparently, it's going to be a reboot of the original, which isn't even that old. It's kind of like when the Amazing Spider-Man came out. It wasn't, no, it's not time. You gotta wait a while before you reboot something like that. I don't know. And that's just what I've heard. That may not even be true. I could be completely wrong. And if I am, you can correct me in the comments. As long as you promise to be as much of a smartass about it as possible. Sarcasm. Alright, FIFA 14, Madden 14. While we're talking about EA, it's funny. Apparently EA had to reconvene with the Sony people after E3 was over because everybody knows that EA is big on, they're very anti-used games. They feel like they're losing all this revenue. Oh, God forbid EA doesn't make billions of dollars every year. That would, oh no. Poor EA. Apparently they need to reconvene with Sony because of Sony's stance on used games. It's so fucking dark. God damn it. There. Hey, look at that. They need to reconvene with Sony about the whole thing because Sony encourages used games. You can give your video game to your friend and your friend can play it. It is that simple. It is not that simple with the Xbox. And I don't really want to get into it because it's really confusing, and it shouldn't be confusing. You should be able to buy a game and fucking play it, regardless of whether it's new or it's used. I mean, I can't afford to buy a new... for the amount of games I can buy right now, I could seriously only afford, like, one game a month that way. White guy problems, I know, but still, come on. Used games, I can get so many more... I mean... You buy 2 brand new games at like $60 a pop. That's $120 for 2 fucking games. That just, no, I don't like it. Lego Marvel Superheroes. Anybody played any of the recent Lego games? I mostly played them with my wife because it was really fun 2-player. But now that they're doing the weird dynamic split screen bullshit, it's just too fucking disorienting and it's really annoying. We do not like it. So that's unfortunate because they could have been really fun games, but instead we're left with this bullshit. And then it just pisses myself and my wife off, and we just end up yelling at each other. So fucking forget it. PS4 exclusives. I'm finding the Knack, which is definitely a launch title. It was made by one of the PlayStation developers, like one of the main developers. It doesn't look that interesting. Drive Club, couldn't care less. Killzone Shadowfall is I don't know anything about Killzone, but if it's a shooter, which it is, I have no interest in playing it with a controller. I got to use the mouse and keyboard. I'm just too used to it now. And then also they were like advertising The Witness like crazy, and I haven't seen much about it lately. So I don't know what the hell's going on with that. It looked really cool, it looked kind of like a Myst sort of puzzle game kind of thing. It looked awesome, all these little puzzle mini games in it and everything, like a first person kind of puzzle exploration, like Myst, like real Myst. But I haven't heard anything about it recently. That's the only one that I'm looking forward to at the moment. But like I said, I'm okay with waiting for a while before I get a PS4. It should be mentioned too, there's no backwards compatibility on the PS4 or the Xbox One. Zero backwards compatibility on any of it, which is pretty fucking sad considering all the backwards compatibility they've had in the past. The old XBone actually has some probably better exclusives than the PS4, but as far as I can tell, that's like the only thing they have going for them in terms of what I'm interested in. Forza Motorsports, I'm sure that's not something I give a shit about. Rise, Son of Rome, that actually looked really fucking cool. I gotta say, it's like ancient Rome, and you're a Roman, and you're like killing people left and right. It's kind of it's almost like the gameplay reminded me of like Dark Souls crossed with like Dynasty Warriors, which sounds like a really fucking cool combo. Dead Rising 3, I never really cared about that. Killer Instinct, finally, we get a Killer Instinct sequel, and apparently it is like extremely button mashy. It's not like, you play like Street Fighter 4, and yes, that's what a fighting game should be. I don't like the extra shit they added in Street Fighter 4, but other than that, it feels fantastic. The controls are beautiful. In the new Killer Instinct, which by the way was not developed by Rareware, it was developed by Helix Studios or something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, in the new Killer Instinct, the game that we have all been waiting for a very, very long time. Apparently it's very button mashy. They ruined Jago. I've only seen a little bit of gameplay footage, but Jago, the little 5'6" ninja guy who's fucking awesome. Probably my favorite character, maybe Cinder. I like Cinder too. But they fucking ruined it. He lost his shirt. I guess Jago lost his shirt somehow. He also took like a shitload of steroids. He's extremely tall. His sword turned into some weird like Arabian fucking pirate sword. It used to be like this cool little ninja. Nope, not good enough. Not good enough for the Xbox crowd. Gotta have a fucking 6-pack abs on everything. I just spit. That's how angry I am. It's okay. Let's move on. We've got, where was that? Killer Instinct. Connect Sports Rivals. Thank fucking God. I know we've all been waiting for Connect Sports Rivals. Fuck. Minecraft is coming. I don't think it's a launch title, but there's going to be some Minecraft, a bunch of extra multiplayer shit or something. I don't know the full story on that. I don't think anyone does. There will be a new Halo eventually at some point. This is the only promise they have made about a Halo. Something called Crimson Dragon, and then of course Titanfall. I don't really know a whole lot about those, and I haven't been able to find a ton of info on them, but again, stuff I don't really care about. But yeah, overall, I would say the XBone has, their launch titles are looking a little bit better. Their exclusive launch titles, sorry, are looking a bit better than the PS4's. But, like I say, you never know what's going to happen in the future. 3 years from now, PS4 could have an amazing library, or vice versa. There's just no telling. So anyway, that about does it for games. Let's move on. It seems both consoles will be featuring 4K or Ultra HD, if that ever becomes a thing that everybody really gets into and everybody has 4K televisions. I don't know if it will in the lifespan of those consoles, but I still say good on them for making it an option, because we just don't know how things are going to turn out at the moment. In addition to that, I guess the XBone will be a lot more friendly in terms of watching television. I don't care about that. My computer's hooked up to the TV. That I use my computer to watch TV shows and Netflix and all that good stuff on. I really don't care about the TV features the consoles have. In fact, I'd rather they just didn't bother at all, really. Aside from that, they both use Blu-ray, which is pretty funny because I'm almost positive Blu-ray is Sony-owned. Sony-owned technology, so it's pretty funny that the Xbox One uses Sony-owned technology. I think they were trying to go with DVD HD just out of spite for Sony, and of course HD DVD. But HD DVD, of course, failed, and Blu-ray prevailed. That rhymed. The launch date, we know November for the Xbox One, PS4. They haven't actually said. They said 2013, but I would guess probably November for both, just so they're good to go and they have a decent amount of stock ready for the holidays, because that's what Christmas is all about. I'm buying things. So anyway, this has been my weak attempt at covering the consoles. I hope it didn't suck. I hope it doesn't run too long, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about all this shit, especially the used game thing with the Xbox. I mean, that's the major issue, but God, it just confuses the shit out of me. I know that it has something to do with, like, you can lend your game to a friend, but only if they've been on your friends list for 30 days or more, and you can only lend to one friend. That's it for the entire lifespan of the game. You can used games will be supported through certain retailers, which pretty much just means GameStop. GameStop is probably paying some massive fucking fee, and then you'll get the game, you'll get it home, you'll get it in your Xbox One, you'll have to pay an additional fee or some bullshit like that. The whole thing is just, it shouldn't be confusing, and it is. If it's even borderline confusing, then it's worthless. Fuck you. Fuck you. Anyway, let me know what you think. I would like to confer with your bad selves in the comments section about all this crazy crap that's going on. I don't know, maybe it's time to just switch back to the old PC and stay on the PC the way things are going. I wish there were no exclusives. I mean, the only reason I have a PS3 is for all the great exclusives that it has, and that's really what sells a console to me. That's the only thing that sells a console to me. If there was no such thing as exclusives, if I could play every Final Fantasy game on my PC, then I'd just have my PC and that would be that. That would be the end of it. I wouldn't have any need for consoles or really, really expensive capture hardware just so I can record the stupid shit. It would all be on PC and it would all be fraps and everything would be wonderful. But, of course, that's not the way the world works. Anyway, let me know what you think. Your thoughts, your comments, your hate mail, whatever you want. Put it down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Luke out.